G'day. I'm Basil Psanoudakis, but that's not really my name. It isn't. Mum and Dad changed it. And Altered Lament is an artistic ritual project, and it comes from a space we call the Amman Orthodox Church. Amman, my mum used to say, Amman, Amman, Amman. There's no English word for Amman. It doesn't exist. In 1922, in Asia Minor, a city burnt to the ground and tens of thousands of people died, and about 1.5 million people fled and arrived in mainland Greece in the port city of Piraeus. And the blood of those people flowed into the water, and their skins burnt, and their screams, Amman. There's no English word for it. I love that word. And out of that catastrophe came a musical tradition called Rebetika, which some say is the Greek blues or akin to the Spanish fado, but it's not really. And Rebetika, or the musicians of Rebetika, sang about their loss. And that loss was a poetic for them. And so they looked back from where they came and saw an absolute destruction. There was nothing left. We were fortunate enough to go to Greece at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And you walk around and you see the temples, and this city, which was called Smyrna, there's nothing left of it. It's in total ruin. There's only the songs, there's only the music. All you can do is make a replica. And this is called Ayi Fortini, which is in a suburb called Nia Smyrna, or New Smyrna. And all you can do is look over your shoulder and point backwards to something that doesn't exist anymore. And in that preservation, something new happens. And as a musician, or as an artist, as a painter or a photographer, when you create art, like the Sufi, like the dervish, you turn and you go somewhere else. You leave yourself. You have to leave yourself. And like the Rebets who had to leave their homeland, when you leave your homeland, when everything is lost, there's only the new. That's all that's left. This is the boneyard in the port of Piraeus, or just outside of it. And everything's rotting there. Everything's rusted. There's nothing. But the new refugees live there from Africa. So for us, we played on these boats. That was one of the first gigs we did. And our only audience was the Africans that lived as refugees on the boats. The music was only preserved on 78 records. It was the only way that this music could be recorded, because most of the musicians couldn't read or write music. And a beautiful thing happened. I bought a gramophone record from a flea market in Greece, and it had one of these beautiful old songs on it. And before I could even play it or listen to it, I stopped at a restaurant to eat, and a waiter knocked it out of my hand and it smashed like a plate. I couldn't even hear it. It's a beautiful thing, because out of that broken record, we'll repair it for our artistic project, and we'll play it back, a version of it, and it'll be broken and destroyed, but beautiful. And so we met Armenians, Jews, Greeks, Turks, French, English, Americans, all these cultures that lived in Smyrna, who held onto their culture and yet never visited their homeland. And they held on to their musical traditions. And so the Amman Orthodox cross is a symbol that we created, which is about celebrating all the music from that city, which is now completely destroyed. You can't even, there's no point for an archaeologist to visit it. There's nothing there. And so we're fusing Rebettica, with jazz, with dub, with electronica, with noise, hopefully with metal, with opera, to remember a city that is not even a memory for many people. And when we spoke to Greeks, they sort of had an idea of the space, but it was completely gone. We're hoping to, we are in August, going to put together an installation which brings about photography, music, sculptural pieces, and video in order to celebrate the fire. Because when you stand back from the destruction, and over, I suppose, a few generations, when you stand back from a destruction, you can see that there is a growth and a richness to it. Many of the Rebettes, when they fled Smyrna, or Smyrni, went, as I said, to Piraeus. Many went to America. And fortunately, those people were able to form little clubs and cafes, particularly in New York and Chicago, that were called the Cafe Amanez. There's that word again, Aman. And they were able to record their musical tradition. And so all really is not lost so long as we preserve some of these things. That's our alteredlament.com, and that's us. I'm not Masonic. Masonic's an artistic collective that I'm part of. Thanks very much.